the Nuggets are your NBA champions. Damian Lillard hates the city of Boston, and Chris Paul is on the move. All of this and more on NBA Sideline. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Sideline NBA Edition. We're here every Wednesday at noon to break down and discuss the current state of the NBA. Before we get going, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please leave a comment down below. Joining me today, as always, T. T, how you doing?
Good. I'm gonna miss hearing that intro music.
I was gonna say, T, this will be our last episode of this NBA season, and that's because the Nuggets won last night. T. We'll go right into it. State of the league. The Denver Nuggets got it done last night versus the Miami Heat. They won in 5 games, and they really dominated this entire playoffs. They went 16-4, swept the Lakers conference finals, easy 5 games versus the Heat. Jokic won finals MVP. He played well. Jamal Murray played well. A lot of the role players would have a game here and there. T, overall, what do you think of this Nuggets run?
Well, I think, obviously Lakers fans have been preaching this, but they're going to say it was very boring. They're going to say the Nuggets are a boring team to watch because of Jokic.
That's true.
And I do kind of agree with them. I will say everyone has the fear when the NBA season ends of, oh my God, I'm going to have to watch baseball.
I kind of kicked
I'm going to have to watch baseball for a couple months in the summer. But I can't believe I'm saying this. I actually was watching some WNBA games.
Oh,
and believe it or not,
everything all right?
No, believe it or not. I was watching it because Kelsey Plum.
Oh, actually,
she could be my wife.
I'm actually never mind. I love Kelsey Plum.
I had to watch her.
She's great. The Aces.
And tune in to Brittany, I guess, because that's a big deal. But beyond that point, pretty much every WNBA team has a Jokic on their team. Okay. So, what am I getting at? I'm saying, are the Nuggets that boring? If they can't be that boring, so why not give the WNBA a try? Because I actually think it's a little bit better than baseball. I know baseball's got the new rules and shit, but I just can't sit down and watch a 3-hour baseball game.
I'm with you. Kelsey Plum, she's
she could be the wife.
She's welcome on this program anytime.
What's the tight end's name on the Giants? He's
Darren Waller.
Yeah.
Lucky guy.
We're not messing with him.
As for the Nuggets, dude, I'll give Jokic, man. They may not be, like you said, they may not be the most exciting team to watch. They don't have that kind of that swagger like a Grizzlies or like a Lakers might. But, dude, they're a good team, man. They got a lot of good players. I love watching Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray play basketball.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic, dude, for me, dude, he's a Hall of Famer. He got in a car crash today. The Joker's going into Hall of Fame first ballot.
Yeah.
And he's got 2 MVPs, man. He's stacking up All-Star games. He's got a ring finals MVP. If he keeps going like this, man, he's going to be one of the greatest centers of all. I think he's already Hall of Fame center, but he could top 5 maybe,
Yeah, definitely. I would say the funniest thing that I saw from him was one of the interviewers last night asked him, they were talking about how their parade in Denver's on Thursday, then he just got pissed off and was like, I want to go home. I have to stay here till Thursday. So,
dude, he's
even more Kawhi than Kawhi is.
He's the most low-key superstar that doesn't want to be a superstar.
He's like if Kawhi and Tim Duncan had a white child.
That's a perfect comparison. Yeah, that's why I love him, man, because he just shows up to – it's literally just a job for him. He just shows up to work, is the best basketball player on the entire planet, and then just wants to go home and, hang out. And he's awesome.
It's hard to find someone like that.
Dude, I'm a fan of the Joker, and I think this was cool for the Nuggets to win. First championship ever for Denver. So, if Celtics didn't win, but I'm not mad at the Nuggets. I like watching Jokic. I think Murray's a hooper, too. So that was cool to see. We'll stay out west. Next topic. Damian Lillard has been dominating the NBA for a long time. Individually. It hasn't resulted in a lot of success for his team, the Portland Trail Blazers. And because of that, he could be on the move this offseason. Now, people have been saying this for a while, 3 or 4 years. Lillard needs to go get a ring. Lillard has always shut it down. He stayed lower to Portland. Well, recently he was on a podcast, and he was kind of entertaining the idea of leaving. And they asked him, they brought up some teams. I think they said Boston, Brooklyn, Miami, and I think the Lakers or Knicks, one of those two teams. And he shut down all. He said, I'd go to Brooklyn or Miami. T, I'll ask you, where do you think where would you like to see Lillard end up?
Personally, I mean, I think he's going to end up in Miami.
Okay, me too.
It's obviously it's clear he was shooting the shit with Tatum, and he doesn't want to go to Boston.
He wants no part of Boston.
Wants no part of Boston. It sounds like he wants to go south to some warmer weather. So
you can't blame him.
Yeah, you can't blame him. I mean, my only thing is, what will Miami be able to package together from them? I mean, Portland's just going to be getting, probably a couple undrafted players and a couple first rounders.
I agree with you, man. I think Miami's. I mean, Boston, I would take him in a second. Yeah, but it sounds like he would shut down a trade to Boston. I mean, I can't. Miami, you get the weather, you get the women.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are we going to get? A Southie broad? It's just not the same.
Like, there's 2 W's. Where's the third one? The real dub on the fort.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
That's probably how they get so many free agents.
No, I mean, seriously,
you get the 3 W's.
And
Come on down.
And I can't blame them.
Mm-hmm. No, you can't.
And but also, like, from just a fit wise, dude, because Miami, they have a very good surrounding. They get that dog in them, and they're good.
Yeah,
they're a good team, and they get that dog in them. And I feel like they need scoring. They scored 89 points in game. They lack scoring. They own these stretches where they can't get a bucket. And Lillard would provide them scoring, and he has a dog in him. I think they'd be an immediate contender. What would they package? Maybe a package like first-round picks, Tyler Hero, and, one of the other whatever. I think as long as you keep Butler and Bam, and you bring in Lillard, I think everyone else is, trade away.
Yeah,
and I think he'd be really dangerous there. Brooklyn wouldn't make sense. They'd just be like the Blazers from the McCollum Lillard Blazers,
Yeah, honestly, if the Heat could get that 3 together of Dame, Jimmy, and Bam,
it'd be dangerous.
Like they would probably be my favorite because everyone was talking about how Jimmy fizzled out at the end of the finals, and I mean, Dame could just take the whole scoring load. That's his time. Jimmy would just focus on the defensive end.
You put Lillard on this Heat team right now, and you replay this series, I think it's going 7.
Yeah, you're basically adding, 25, 30 points to Miami's score for every single game.
Yeah,
that would be his addition.
And they need a scorer. We got a report too right before we started filming this. Shams or Woj reported that Miami's going to heavily pursue a superstar this offseason. That feels like Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been a fan of him, dude, his whole career. I just think he's a gamer. He's a winner. He stayed loyal. But he's earned, like, if he leaves to get a ring, he's earned it. And I want him to, because that's the last thing he does to cement his legacy. He's already Hall of Famer, but I would like to see Dame get a ring. He deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
Next, speaking of ringless point guards, we have Chris Paul. Now, Chris Paul's a little older in the tooth. He's 38, and he's breaking down. He's always hurt. He always chokes. That's probably why the Suns, there have been reports the Suns are reportedly going to waive Chris Paul. Now, since that report, there have been conflicting reports. Oh, maybe he'll stay. Maybe they'll try and trade him. But the feeling around the league is that Chris Paul is going to be leaving the Suns. They're going to try and go in a new direction. I'll ask you first, do you think the Suns, this is a good move on their part? And if Chris Paul does leave, is there anywhere you'd like to see him, maybe even in Boston?
Well, one thing I'm confused by is people are saying that the Suns are going to waive him and then sign him back. I don't think that makes any sense.
Yeah,
I think if you're going to waive him, then he's going to friggin' leave. That means they don't want him back. So I think that should be shut down. I mean, personally, I could see him back on the Clippers. I mean, he would probably be a little bit better of a fit for them than Russ was. But then again, they could probably use Russ and CP, and that would be their point guard rotation.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Then again, that could easily turn into a Lakers 2021 retirement home for the Clippers.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's an old roster,
which would kind of be funny. But
that would be funny. Do you think this is a good move for Phoenix to move on from Chris Paul, or would you keep him if you're the Suns?
Honestly, I don't think it would hurt them to go to a younger point guard. Yeah. I mean, there's been rumors. Skip Bayless says there's rumors of Mike Conley, who's 35. So he's so much younger. Skip, 35, 3 years.
I love Mike Conley. That's a lateral move. At this point in his career.
If I was them, they still have Campaign. Yeah. Campaign's been really good. Maybe Van Vliet, if they can try and flip somebody, turn it around for them.
maybe like a Terry Rozier, if like someone like him's on the move.
Absolutely.
If I'm Phoenix, Chris Paul's tough, man. I think I would ultimately move on if I'm Phoenix, just because I feel like it's you rely on him and then he gets hurt all the time and he breaks down. If he does leave and that's true, I think the Celtics. I know what people are gonna say. You have a million point guards. Well, fucking trade Marcus Smart for something.
Yeah.
Because what has hurt the Celtics has been turning the ball over. They have a bunch of hybrid guards. Derek White, Smart, and Brogdon. None of them are a true point guard. None of them are a true ball. Derek White's probably your best ball handler. They turn the ball. Jaylen Brown, Tatum. They turn the ball over in these big games. Listen, Chris Paul. I feel like he wouldn't have to be a starter either. You could bring Chris Paul off the bench. You could play limited minutes and just like handle the ball in big late game situations, so you don't have to worry about turning it over. If they brought him in, I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah. No, actually, I agree with you. I think he would. I think Missoula would have to allow him though to shoot mid-range shots.
Yeah, he has. That's his bread and butter.
Because that would add another dimension to our offense too. Not to mention that he could easily turn Rob Williams into the next prime DeAndre Jordan.
I was going to say they run the pick and roll with him and Rob Williams. I mean, he takes that elbow mid-range jumper or throws up to the time limit. That's automatic.
Yeah.
And like you said, then add another dimension to the offense instead of just ISO, Tatum, fadeaway threes.
Yes, absolutely.
So and people say, oh, he's a born loser, like he chokes. Well, listen, we haven't won anything. We've been losers so far too. Mm-hmm. So, every dog has his day.
I think another point guard that could be on the move for both Phoenix and the Celtics potentially. He's actually been in Phoenix before is Ricky Rubio.
Rubio's another ball handler.
Cleveland, he had a ACL surgery the season before last, so this was kind of his rehab year. So he's still I believe he's only 30. So
if anyone needs like a ball handler, he's definitely. I mean, that's what he's best at.
Yeah,
setting people up. So we'll keep an eye on that. Last topic here, James Harden. Your guy, another guard without a ring, Hall of Fame guard without a ring. Some people are saying Chris Paul and the Philly might do a sign and trade, him and Chris Paul. I don't know if that makes sense for Philly, but the report is James Harden is torn between the Rockets and the Sixers. Obviously he goes to the Rockets. He's the best player on the team right away. He's going to get his numbers, but he's surrounded by young guys. That fits kind of weird. They probably wouldn't win, but he'd get paid and, he'd get his shots. Philly, you kind of like what they were this year. You're a fringe contender, and you're probably going to choke in the playoffs to a superior team. T, I'll ask you, what do you think makes more sense here?
I think that I could see him. I think he's just going back to Houston, personally. Oh, wow. I think that Houston's just going to give him the money. I think he just wants his freedom back, too. I mean, I think he paired well with Embiid, too. I mean, he led the league in freaking assists, so people can't really say that he played bad this year. Mm-hmm. He just made sure he was the number 2 option and that he helped Embiid win MVP, so you can't say he had a bad season. But that's why, I mean, partially everyone's going to say he's going to go to Houston and they're still going to be god-awful. I mean, he like I just said, he helped Joel Embiid win MVP. So we have these young top prospects, I mean, maybe he can help, Jalen Green learn how to, score like Harden did when he was in his prime days, or, help Sengun become a better center, I mean, people have hinted at Sengun being the next Jokic. So.
I know. I feel like Harden, like you said, could definitely help those young guys in Houston, but they wouldn't be good. I think he might go back to Houston, too, because he was like the man there. Mm-hmm. And, I feel like he tried to do the ring thing, like in his mind. He goes, I went to Brooklyn, I went to Philly, didn't work out. Yeah. He goes, I got how many years left? Let me get paid one last time, and let me get my last stats, and F the ring. I'm a Hall of Famer, and let me go to Houston.
Yeah.
If I was him, I would, look elsewhere. Maybe try to go to a different team. I'm a contender, but I feel like Harden. I don't know if he's going to do it. It feels like it's these two teams.
There have been rumblings of him in Phoenix. So, I mean.
That's back with Durant?
Yeah, I mean, that's
a lot of offense and not a lot of defense on that team if that happens.
Yeah. I mean, when those two were healthy, though.
They were good.
They were a toe away from being in the finals.
That's true.
And Harden was playing on one hamstring, so.
Yeah, he was hurt.
Who even knows?
So we'll see. That's definitely a big domino to drop. Definitely for Philly in terms of like how they stand in the East.
Yep.
Along with the other guards we talked about. But we'll finish up with that. We'll end with Celtics. Not a ton of news surrounding the Celtics, but we're looking towards the offseason. A lot of people are talking about Jaylen Brown. Should you offer him the Supermax because he had a terrible series against Miami? You have a cluster of guards. Should you move one of them? Time Lord's good, but he's always hurt. T, is there anything you would like to see the Celtics do this offseason? Maybe make that final push to get that ring.
I think we need some PJ Tucker-esque wings. I'm not saying I actually
3-and-D wings.
I wouldn't want PJ Tucker. I think he's a little too old now.
Yeah, I liked him like 4 years ago, but he's washed now. I agree.
Jeff Green just won a championship.
Okay.
I mean, he's kind of old too, but he's always been like the
Bring
poor man's LeBron to
where
me,
it all
so.
started.
Him, Rob Covington. He's going to be a free agent.
I like Covington a lot.
And Missoula would love him because he would just shoot threes and play defense. So
exactly.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many years are left on Tobias Harris's contract, but I could see him potentially getting bought out.
Make a move for him. Those are good. I like that. So you want to see like a nice 3-and-D player for the Celtics?
Yeah, obviously, just someone who can play both sides of the ball. Guard some bigger guys.
You know who was a great 3-and-D player? Just like solid Ariza.
Yeah.
He was such a solid 3-and-D player.
That was one when I was a heavy Rockets fan. Everyone said every team needs a Trevor Ariza.
I love Ariza.
That's what they'd say.
He was so solid.
Yeah.
I agree, T. I think they could use that. I think I'd like to see him do one of two things because I think you have to bring back Jaylen Brown and give him the max because what's the alternative? Mm-hmm. You lose him, you're not going to get the same in return, and you're right there at the door. Even though he had a bad series, you're right there at the door. So I feel like you just got to keep like plugging away and hope you break through. I'd like to see him get either a ball handler because turnovers are a huge problem. They don't really have a true point guard, and like you said, I think could help set guys up. And I think they desperately need a big because I think Horford is. I love Al Horford. I love him so much, but I think you saw his age this playoffs. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much quality basketball you're going to get out of him moving forward. And I love Robert Williams, but he can't stay healthy, and he can't shoot either. It's kind of lobs with him. I love him, but so I wouldn't mind him seeing get a big that could take up some minutes. I don't have a name for you, but I don't know, like I don't know if it would be possible. Miles Turner, I know he's been rumored for a long time with the Celtics. I always liked Valanciunas.
Even just a true person who is over 7 feet.
Yeah,
that is not Luke Cornett.
A big body. Because you
Cause
play against Giannis, dude. You play against Embiid in the East. Like if you make it to the finals, you might see Jokic.
Yeah, I can't even. I saw Giannis's. I don't know if you saw his Insta post yesterday. Fucking scared me, dude. He looks like a gorilla.
Dude, he's definitely on demon time.
I tried his fucking exercise in that workout, and I was like sweating.
Can you send it to me actually?
Absolutely.
Send it after. Yeah. I'll talk about it.
So Giannis already scaring me in June for the next season.
The Celtics, they get their work cut out for them. They're gonna have the Bucks. They're gonna have Miami again if they get Lillard.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens with Philly, and if any other teams throughout the East make moves, the Knicks, Brooklyn, whatever. But I definitely think the Celtics need some sharpening them up this offseason.
Maybe Semi Ojeleye has been working on the 3, the ultimate Giannis.
Sam loves Semi Ojeleye. T, thank you for joining me. Mm-hmm. It's been a pleasure.
What a season.
And that's all we got. Thank you for sticking around for this last episode of NBA Sideline. It's been a great season. Thank you for everyone who watched and stuck around all season. We really appreciate it. And before you leave, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, send a link to a friend, and still be sure stay around for the channel. We got a lot of other stuff. We got Movie Mob. We have other new content coming on Wilco Media page, and Sideline's not done. This is not goodbye. This is until next time. And with that, we'll see you later.